Hey, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? So, welcome back after a great Christmas break, which was pretty much a 48-hour Christmas break, but it's a break because I ate a lot. I'm so stuffed. I don't know if you can see my belly here. No, you can't. Good. I don't want you to. So, today we're going to be doing sixth lord in the second house. And what happens when the planet that controls your sixth house is sitting in the second house? Well, what is the sixth house? Sixth house represents diseases, enemies, obstacles, debts. It represents small animals, unprivileged people, non-profit organization, everyday work life, everyday routine, disputes, all of these things. But some of you said, well, couple, sixth house cannot be a house of cure and diseases. It can only be one. No, it can be the house of diseases or cure, depending upon how you look at it. Okay? Either you can cure somebody and their diseases, which is sixth house, or you can get a disease or illness. Either way, it's a give and take, depending upon how it's placed, what's placed in there. Either planet is curing other people or the planet is being afflicted. That's why it does make sense that it is a house of diseases and a house of curing. Okay? So when this planet goes into the sixth house, goes into the second house, what is the second house? Second house represents family, lineage, culture, art, assets, value, money, wealth. You know, it's like pretty much as Sam Jippy says, what you value in this life. Okay? And that's what second house is. So when this goes into the second house, shows that what your value system gets molded, gets changed. Although wherever the second lord is placed, that's where your main value is. But now, because the sixth lord is placed in the second house, it's kind of interacting with that. So it's important to see where your second lord is placed and judge that mainly, but use this planetary placement as a second source of what you value. So what you value is taking care of animals, welfare of small animals, welfare of other people. Your source of income is second house. So your source of income comes from your everyday routine. Source of income comes through dealing with obstacles, dealing with enemies, or a source of income is coming from dealing with diseases and illnesses. This is why it's really important to see where the second lord is placed and what's the sixth lord in the second house is doing, because both of these are going to have a reaction here. And as you know it through my career consultation, I emphasize on the second house more than anything else because it's the source of your body, source of your how you make money for your body, to feed your body. And so sixth house being in the second house shows that your wealth is also being made by going in disputes, perhaps like an attorney, perhaps like a political activist, who goes into political disputes to make their earnings. At the same time, it shows somebody who earns by being in debt, meaning that you take on a lot of debt to make money. What does that mean? That pretty much means you take a loan from the bank to start your business, and that's how you make money. Because sixth house shows loans and debt that you receive from institutions like banks, pretty much. Okay, because eighth house is a house that you borrow with your family members, but sixth house is a house that you borrow with other institutions. Okay. Now this also shows that somebody who also, incurs debt upon the Mahadasha of the sixth lord. So wherever planet is sitting in the second house, in that Mahadasha, you somehow get into a situation where you have to take on a lot of debt to make your income, make your money to feed yourself, because second house is feeding. Second house is taking food in, taking things in. So you're feeding yourself by being in that, meaning everybody is in this kind of a situation if you look at it, because you put money on credit card, you go to grocery stores, you put it on the credit card. You are being in debt to pay for your food and groceries. And in this Mahadasha, it particularly becomes more, damaging that way. Like people get into a lot of debt in this time period and they want to feed themselves. They want to make, what happens is that I have seen cases where people will become very lavish. They will spend a lot of money on themselves, but they spend the money they don't have because they think that, I can pay it in the future. Let me just take it right now. So they incur a lot of credit card debt, and next thing you know, they're in debt, they cannot pay the bill, they're filing for bankruptcy, they're going into all these programs, and that's what happens with this placement. Okay, as far as diseases are concerned, sixth lord being in the second house shows somebody who may have disease of the mouth, teeth, face, pimples, depending upon what planet is placed there. Especially Mercury can show a lot of zits and pimples in your early youth. It's nothing serious. It's just that somewhere in your chart of all the 7 billion people, the sixth lord is sitting somewhere. So disease is coming one way or the other. So like you guys think like, oh my God, my sixth lord is placed here. It's placed somewhere. You can't escape it. Sixth lord in the sixth house is there. So again, it's just depending upon where it's placed, you might suffer illnesses due to those things. But how serious is it or not? Those are from other things. Those are from divisional charts, like the Trimshamsha chart. Okay, so that's that. So you don't go on just like, oh my God, don't go on the face value of the sixth house. In order to really see if somebody has a deadly disease or not, or deadly illness, is you have to look at the Trimshamsha chart. Now, sixth lord, as I said, is a house of enemies. And what this shows is that you will earn money through your enemies. You may earn money through, like, look at me, like most of you hate me, yet you still watch my video. Okay, and because of this, you hate me, you consider me your enemy, yet by you watching the video, I get paid. So this is the same concept. You make money through your enemies. Maybe you have a coffee shop or some business and store, and certain people just hate you. They hate your guts. They can't stand you. They can't stand the fact that you have become successful as a business person. But you're the only store that can probably fix the type of watch that they have. You have a watch store, and they cannot go anywhere else but come to you. So they will come to you, pay you for a service, and at the same time they're your enemy. So your enemy is helping you make money. So you make money through your enemies and through people who kind of become an obstacles in front of you. However, at the same time, you will also run into people who will give you obstacles in making money, earning wealth. You feel like, especially in the time period of the sixth lord, that why are people coming after me to stop me from making my dreams come true, making my money happen? So that's another scenario that can work the same way. But at the same, it goes back and forth. You'll make money through your enemies. At the same time, some other enemy will try to stop you from making money. You'll feel all distressed. That's why it's a Dushtana house. Now, here's the thing about this sixth lord in the second house placement. It is actually a very good placement. It is not a bad placement. Don't think that your wealth is going to go away or you won't be able to make wealth. Okay, there's a billionaire, I forgot his name, I think it's Richard Branson. His sixth lord is in the second house. Okay, but the good thing is that second, sixth, and 10th house are known as Artha houses. Besides the second house being known as a Marka house and sixth house being known as the Dushtana house, it is also known as the Artha house. Houses that help you make money, help you earn income. It's a triangle, like the triangle of Trikon, the Dharma houses, then Kama houses. These are Artha houses. An Artha lord in the Artha house makes a person a very workaholic person. These people have the energy to work and make the money. They're here to make the money. No matter what planet is placed, they're here to make the money. They're here to work hard for that money. Now, the thing that I mentioned about the routine, like everyday routine, why is it a good placement is because of the fact, let's say your everyday routine is, your wish is to have your everyday routine be your passion. Let's say your Venus is, somehow influencing the sixth lord, and you feel that your everyday routine should be to get up, go in front of a canvas, paint, and that is going to make you your earning. Well, guess what? With this placement, it's doing that. With this placement, eventually the person ends up doing what they want to do because their everyday routine, everyday work life is really not becoming the source of income. And especially with some other alignments, especially the mind that wants a certain routine every day. When that comes true, these people can be actors, chemists, doctors, you know, weapon makers, whatever they want to be, they can be that with this placement. So it's actually a very good placement. You know, don't think of it as a bad placement, that it's a Dhisthana house lord sitting somewhere. Well, you know what? Too many Dhisthana houses lords are placed here and there, and some of the people are living the most blessed life, even in their Mahadashas. But this placement is a very good placement. Now, depending upon what lord goes into the second house and what lord or planet is controlling the sixth house, it's going to differentiate this part. So let's discuss that. And also, before we get started, if you want to look at your house placements and where your sixth lord is placed and all your planetary alignments and dashas and all that good stuff, for that, check out the links here where you'll find your astrological report, numerology report, and my books, Astrology, Conjunction, and Aspects at the Speed of Light. Let's say if Sun controls your sixth house and goes into the second house. What this shows is that Sun, first of all, is becoming exalted, and shows that somebody who's dedicated to the service to the government. Their source of income comes from working for the government, benefiting from the government. It also shows that father instilled a lot of hard work within you. Father in the family showed everyone how to work hard, how to get up and sweat a tear and make something happen in your life. So in this way, your father is really energizing your ability to, get up and do something, because Artha houses are all about getting up and just going in the dirt and doing something. It may not have any meaning, but you're just doing the movement. You're going out there, doing with your own effort, fighting the world and just doing something. And at the same time, though, here father becomes a very king-like figure in the family. And what happens is, as much as it's exalted, father here controls everything. Father here wants to make sure what you're doing, what everybody's doing, is everybody following so it becomes kind of like a strict environment. Although later on you will be like, oh my God, I think because how my father was, I really enjoyed who I am now, or I really enjoy who I become now. But at that particular time, let's say if you're in your teens and you're staying with your father in your family, you'll be like, oh my God, this is way too strict. I can't handle this. But the thing is, you have not realized the fact that your son is exalted, meaning that whatever lesson the father is teaching here may actually turn out to be beneficial to you in the future. When you're in your mid-30s, that's when people realize, oh my God, okay, this is why things happen. Because your brain matures, okay? Your personality, your ego, your self-esteem also comes from when you serve other people, because that's what sun represents. Ego, self-esteem, and your confidence. And all of that gets developed when you're dealing with conflicts, helping people, helping non-profit organizations. At the same time, you're helping, animals and helping small pets. Let's say if moon controls the sixth house, goes into the second house, shows somebody who is a very imaginative person, and at the same time who has tremendous love and emotion towards people who are unprivileged. They love serving other people, like being a nurse, being a doctor, being somebody who's out there fighting for them. You want to nurture people who are unprivileged, who do not have the privilege like you might do. Your mother could be a nurse. Your mother could be somebody who solves everybody's problem in the family, because mother is controlling the sixth house and sitting in the second house. Now, can this shows that you may have conflicts with your mother? No, because of the fact, for that you have to go to the divisional chart. You have to see what angle or what, conjunction and aspects the moon is receiving. But moon here in the sign of Pisces, it's quite okay. Moon loves being in here. The person wants to daydream and imagine and be a writer, be a poet, be something creative. And that's the routine they want to have. They want their everyday work life to be able to use imagination. So they use imagination. Let's say Mercury controls your sixth house and Mercury goes into the second house, shows somebody who uses their scientific intelligence to earn their money, who values scientific information, intelligence in other people. This Mercury knows how to balance checks in the family. They take care of family accounting and family, assets. Because here Mercury is becoming, quite logical and analytical. Hey, where's money going? Where's money coming from here? Because Mercury is a money manager. He's a natural businessman. So these people make great businessmen, great accountants, family accountants. But at the same time, they make great mathematicians. Somebody who also has great, love for writing. They may make their, everyday routine about writing, because Mercury is controlling the sixth house, sitting in this in the second house. Let's say if Mars controls your 6th house and Mars goes into the 2nd house, shows that somebody who uses their will, their forcefulness, and their power to make income. Somebody who goes out and fights for their family to make an income. Somebody who goes out on battles to make and to make their income. Whether it's being a lawyer, because that's what also Mars is being a soldier or being a fighter itself. At the same time here, Mars can make somebody a family doctor as well. Somebody who will go and, cure other people. Somebody who has the energy and the strength to fight for their other people. And these people use their voice, use their ability, they use their, how can I say this? Use their forceful voice to manage the people who need help, who become the voice of other people. Because Mars here makes a person a fighter, okay? Now the fighting ability is coming through the mouth because 2nd house rules the mouth. And Mars here also makes a person a very good banker. Yet at the same time, these people can also become drug dealers, can also become criminals who, depends on what you define criminals. If all the world's government legalized all the drugs, those criminals won't be criminals anymore. They'll just be pharmacists. So you can say somebody becomes a pharmacist, somebody who, deals with drugs and deals with, illegal things pretty much, I guess you can say. Because 2nd house represents what you intake. 6th house represents, enemies, obstacles, dealing with, malicious things. Mars here, who's a cruel fighter. So Mars can act, and Mars represents chemicals, working with chemicals. So intake of chemicals, meaning somebody can become a drug addict at the same time with this position. Let's say if Jupiter controls your 6th house and Jupiter goes under the 2nd house. What this shows is that, first of all, somebody will be protected from enemies. Why? Why do I say that? Why? Because in the 2nd house, Jupiter aspects its own placement of the 6th house. So Jupiter, looking at its own house, is providing protection to that house. Usually Jupiter will bless that house. So in any case, it's still a good position. But here Jupiter, looking at its own 6th house, shows protection from that house, meaning that enemies will not be able to get to you as much as they can try. Diseases will come and they will go away. It will not be able to overcome you. At the same time, here Jupiter, what this shows is that you will earn money through publication, through public speaking, through writing, poetry, and even singing. Because Jupiter is a natural significator of, publishing. Jupiter is a natural significator of voicing things, classical music, classical art. And because Jupiter sits in the 2nd house of art and culture, and Jupiter usually in the 2nd house makes a person a writer and a poet, can make them that. But remember the concept that I said, that either 6th house Lord will give you diseases or will cure diseases for the other people. This is that placement. Where Jupiter, through its intelligence and knowledge, because Jupiter is knowledge, with its knowledge, it will be able to cure other people and help other people. Let's say this. Let's say if your friend is depressed, going through depression, and you are the person who has this placement of 6th Lord in the 2nd house with Jupiter. What this person will do is be like, yo man, let's go. Let's go out. We're going to go out, get some drink, get some sushi, have some hot sake, do some sake bombs. And then we're going to go over here. We're going to go to cigar bar and do this. Okay. And your friend's like, whatever. I don't want to go. But he makes them go anyway. But when he goes with them and the conversation he's having with a friend, the things that they're experiencing together that evening helps a person so much. They're like, oh my God, I actually had fun. And what happens then? Okay. The brain releases the positive endorphins or dopamine, and the person feels good. So what did you do? Instead of giving somebody diseases, you cured somebody's disease, because depression is a disease. So you did that. And you here have the knowledge to help the unprivileged, help the animals. Jupiter here loves, helping animals. One thing I forgot to cover is Venus. Let's say if Venus controls your 6th house. And Venus goes into the 2nd house, shows that somebody who finds pleasure in creative routine, somebody who wants to make their earning by doing creative things, by nourishing and helping other people, maybe becoming a veterinarian. With this placement, usually I've seen veterinarians too. My last veterinarian I remember for Yash had this placement, because they always get into a conversation and they find out who you are. So, but here Venus, what it does, it really wants to save animals. Here Venus just has tremendous love for animals. And here your everyday routine, your everyday work life will involve Venusian things. Whether it's dealing with women, dealing with people's relationships, so you can be a divorce lawyer, we're dealing with people's conflicts of relationship and making your money through that way. You can be in arts, cinema, media, drama, journalism, new age media, social media networks, and earning your money through that. So Venus can represent that. Here music and singing also, again, as I said, becomes a tremendous part of your source of earning and what you value. You value all these Venusian things. You value all the Jupiterian things. You value all the Martian things with this placement. Now, let's say if Saturn is placed, it rules the 6th house, and Saturn is placed in the 2nd house. What this shows is that somebody who earns their living through service, who earns their living and feels valuable by serving the older, mature people. They love being in a company, especially in their family. They love being in a company of older people, older uncles, because that's what Saturn represents. Here, Saturn has natural love for animals and people who are suffering. Here, such people should definitely go into nonprofit organization, should definitely become the voice of people who cannot help themselves. And here, Saturn can also make you do manual labor jobs, especially if you're either going through your Sadhisati, or if Saturn is afflicted here, it'll make you go into digging dishes, will go into manual labor jobs where you're like not happy. Because remember, Saturn is not suffering, Saturn is simply showing you the real world. Now, people just don't realize it, that real world is everything. It's suffering, happiness, joy, pleasure, hurt, pain. So don't think Saturn is just going to show you the bad side of these things. It's just the biggest misconception in Vedic astrology. In Saturn Mahadasha or any Paryantra Dasha, Charadasha, where Saturn is active, he's showing you the reality of the world. That you just, like if you look out the window, what do you see? That's Saturn. Whether you see somebody getting stabbed and killed in front of your window, or you see a parade going in front of your window, or you see the love of your life coming through the window. Whatever it is, Saturn will make you experience that. So here, Saturn could be exalted, where it can make you experience all the good side of things. But if Saturn is afflicted, he can also show you the reality, the hardcore real reality of the things. But here, as a businessman, Saturn and Mercury are two planets that love doing business and trade with other people. So it's not just the house of service, but it's also the house of business. Somebody who can go into jewelry, somebody who can go into real estate development. They do very well with jewelry and real estate development here. And so there's great potential to do business here as well. But mainly these people also, though, will suffer also from chronic illnesses. Or they will help cure the other people who have chronic illnesses. Because remember, Saturn represents chronic illness. So wherever Saturn is placed as the 6th lord, he is bringing some sort of a chronic illness. Okay, whether it's subdued or not, or you find a cure for it or not, that's up to other planets. That's up to the science of the new age. But Saturn is always trying to give you a long-term illness, whether it's from panic attacks to finding getting some sort of a mental illness, depending upon if it's in conjunction with Mercury or Moon, or having like knee pain, arthritis, all of these things. But since 2nd house represents this part of the body, usually it affects the teeth. Like people will have bad teeth or bad smell, or they always are going to the dentist to get the cavity out. So it's like everyday minor things. There's nothing like horrific. It's not like Saturn constantly working at making you feel painful. No, there's too many people with sixth lord in the second house of Saturn, and they live a happy, normal life. It's just that, it stays there, and maybe once out of 3-4 months, you feel the pain, you go to the dentist, so you're going more frequently than the other people. But it's there. Okay, so guys, this was my analysis of the sixth lord in the second house. If you're new to my channel, subscribe below. And if you want to know where your sixth lord is placed and where all your placements are, for that, check out the links here and check out my books, Astrology, Conjunction, and Aspects of the Speed of Light. Otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.